house. Deuces Wild bitches.
As you guys can see, we have our fearless leader and the Biscuit Man uh, en route to Long Beach State. Is that correct?
That is correct, Thrill. Yeah, man. Gonna go down there for tomorrow and cool opportunity to speak with the Long Beach State baseball team and TJ Bruce and his staff. And it's sort of a last minute thing, but we have a baseball tournament down there this weekend as well. So I got Biscuit and Toe. Make sure you wave to the camera. Say hello to the Deuces Wild crowd. Thrill, though, here's one thing that I want to let you know because for whatever reason, we got Mr. Skullcap over here. Look at that shaved cut, the high and tight,
Oh, look
fresh
at him
dew
go. Look at him
of the young
go.
guard. Go ahead and show it off, man.
Dude,
Oh,
you ought
dude,
to be ready.
that's how it used to be done, right?
Hey, ready for the Marines, brother. Stick him in there.
Oh, so good, man. So how you been, dude? How was spring training?
Spring training was wonderful. Team played good while I was down there. I had a chance to meet not only Tony Vitello, but the whole rest of the coaching staff, and get comfortable with everybody, get on the same page, and hear some of their theories on things. They asked me some of my theories on things, and yeah, it went really well. I mean, the guys played good while I was down there. They're actually 16-7 right now, but they were playing much better a little while back. But you know, man, our pitching staff's looking really good. I mean, Robbie Ray's dealing. You saw Webby, in the WBC pitching. And then let's see, Eric Miller came back while I was there. He threw his first live game action, went 1-2-3. Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, if you guys in the chat room want to know anything specifically, just run it up there. I'll read it and jump in here. But before we get going, I would like to say thank you to our title sponsor, Car Shield, where they have multiple vehicle service contracts. Please take advantage of Car Shield. They got a nice big banner on top of our broadcast right here. And both Eric and I not only represent Car Shield, but we're customers as well.
Thrill, that's why they pay you the big bucks, man. I mean, what a smooth segue to our favorite car protection agency. The guys at Car Shield, you're going to love this. They sent me a photo the other day of a pickleball court that they have tucked away in like one of their offices, and it's barely big enough to fit an entire court, but they have a full size pickleball court in there. So if you ever run by the Car Shield headquarters, which I believe are in St. Louis, Missouri, don't forget your pickleball racket at home.
That's what I'll do. I'll make sure that when I go to St. Louis, Missouri, I'll pack my badminton with me. So I'll be good to go.
Hey, as a matter of fact, Thrill, one of the dudes, as one of the main dudes, has got a Will Clark jersey in his office.
Yep. As a matter of fact, he had sent that an email to me and you, and there was a little attachment and had a Thrill jersey in the back, and I was like, check him out. So
That's
thank
so
you,
cool.
thank you,
So cool.
thank you.
All right, Thrill. So we're in the middle of the WBC, in the middle of it. We're in the middle of the gold medal game, WBC. It's 1-0 Venezuela. And
it's 1-0 at the end of 4. And
yes,
the USA just finally got their first hit. So they were being no hits, and now they got a hit.
Yeah, Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound, the Diamondbacks pitcher that really hasn't had a ton of success. He's fallen off a little bit just from the major league standpoint. but obviously throwing the ball really well tonight. He's been running up there in the mid 90s. Mark DeRosa had some really tough decisions to make before the game, Thrill, with who was going to catch Will Smith or Cal Raleigh, who was going to play third base, Gunnar Henderson or Alex Bregman, and who was going to play center field between Pete Crow Armstrong and Byron Buxton. Uh, DeRosa decided to go with Will Smith behind the plate. He then decided to go with Bregman at third base and then Buxton in center field. I honestly probably would have made the exact same decisions if, depending on if you feel that Will Smith is, say, more prepared for the moment. And I don't even think prepared for the moment's the right thing, but whoever the better defensive catcher is probably what I would have gone with. So if he feels it's Will Smith, I couldn't tell you. I know they're pretty fucking close. Third base, I would have gone with Bregman just because of the lefty starter, and then the same sort of thing for center field, and then have PCA and Gunnar Henderson ready to come off the bench. What are your thoughts on the decisions that DeRosa made, and how this whole thing's shaking out?
Well, the whole thing's shaken out. He went with the righty on lefty percentages is what he did. Like you said, Bregman's in there, even though he's hitting 154 for the tournament, and then Buxton's in there, and believe it or not, he's 0-0-0. So he went with the righty on lefty matchups, whatever you wanted to call it, and we'll see if it plays out. They're in the fourth right now. Like I said, they just finally got their first hit. Bryce Terang got a hit, and I mean, they had let's see, Venezuela had two runners on, and we threw a pass ball, and then they got a sac fly. So that's how Venezuela scored their run. They just scored another run. I don't know how they did it. We got to see.
It's got to be a
Oh,
home run then.
yeah, Wilyer Abreu
Oh,
homers
shit.
on a fly ball center field.
Yeah. I just watched it, Thrill. I got the game right up here. Now his helmet's off. The Venezuelans are going fucking bananas. Jumping high tens is actually what they're firing out. This is a team that is playing with an emotion like I've very rarely ever seen. Obviously, the Dominicans were doing it too. But that crowd too in Miami, Thrill, is super pro Venezuela. What are your thoughts on the USA being, say, the visiting team, so to speak, in their home country?
Well, that was like yesterday. I mean, Venezuela was supposedly the road team, but it was a home game for them. I mean, so one of the things about Venezuela, somebody said something about Venezuela being an underdog and all that. Venezuela is not an underdog, not with the names that they got in their lineup. Plus, on top of that, having as many major league ball players as Venezuela has in Major League Baseball. Venezuela is no underdog at all. They're a powerhouse, and hey, look, they've been on a roll. You got to tip your cap to them. They went through Japan. The champion from last year, and then the darlings of the tournament, Italy, and they ousted them the other day, and now they got a 2-run lead in the top of 5 against us. So we need to get our shit in gear.
Yeah, thrilled. So Venezuela, you're right. Underdog. It's the same sort of thing, right? Dominican can't play underdog role. Venezuela can't play an underdog role. I mean, between those two countries, they damn near make up probably 30% of the
Yeah,
major leagues.
yeah,
But I will say that to beat Japan and then to go ahead and take down Italy. They were down 2-1 yesterday, late in the game, and they ended up breaking through. They had an infield hit eventually by Ronald Acuna Jr., who beat out a play at first base, but their backs were against the wall. I feel like this team, in a lot of ways, may be a team of destiny. Now, from a betting perspective, they were plus 220. So USA was minus 280 to win this game. That's a pretty big fucking number in baseball, man.
yeah. You know what? It is a big number in baseball, but hey, look, stranger things have happened. So, you want to get down after it. But, it even says it right here on the game, that they were playing against Italy yesterday. It says, uh, for all the talent that the South American coast country, uh, has brought to the MLB, they have more players, in fact, than any other foreign nation other than the Dominican Republic. So, like you said, the DR and Venezuela, as far as the Spanish guys go, they're the two biggest and most well represented in MLB.
Well, Jude Jackson Churio's hitting ninth. If you think about that, what the fuck, man? I mean, this guy was a breakout star as what, 20, 21 years old.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Killed it for the Milwaukee Brewers. And, well, guess what? You're hitting ninth, buddy. I mean, that's a deep lineup that has all stars up and down it. So in that sense, even before this game, I said it this morning on the Daily Hustle Thrill. I'm like, if I were to bet this game, which I'm not going to, but if I were, I would load up on Venezuela. Those odds aren't making sense. I think this is more of a pick 'em game as it was United States heavy favorite. Even more so, you got to consider the fact that they're playing in Miami, where the Venezuela population in Miami is through the roof. And just seeing and watching some of this game, like you said earlier, it's a fucking home game for Venezuela, even though they're
yeah.
not the home team.
Yeah, it's a home game, and it would have been a home game for a lot of Spanish teams down there in Miami because it's so well represented with the Latino community. So I mean, the United States have dug themselves a hole, and they need to get out of it, and they need to get out of it pretty soon.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell me a little bit more about Arizona. How was it meeting Tony Vitello for the first time in person?
You know what? I really enjoyed meeting Tony. Very well versed, talks extremely well, knows kind of the right things to say. And I was sitting there listening to him in the dugout, as the game was going on. Not only is he making moves and consulting his coaching staff, but he's actually kind of a cheerleader. I mean, he's pulling for the guys. He's got some good, one-liners that he tells them, and it was a breath of fresh air, being in a dugout and hearing a little chatter. So I thoroughly enjoyed, Tony Vitello, and I mean, I hope it continues. I can tell you that right now. I mean, they've been playing well in spring training, and basically a week from tomorrow, we have opening day, and I will be in San Francisco for that. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed they get off to a good start against the New York Yankees.
Yeah, that ought to be a banger, man. So, but you're telling me in a San Francisco Giants spring training Dougie, they have chatter going on as if it's college? Is that
Yeah,
real?
no, I mean it was pretty good. I mean, I enjoyed it. Not a ton of
I love
chatter.
it.
It's not a ton of chatter, but I mean, you could hear like some of the coaches going, "Come on, big boy," I mean, they chiming in and get your pitch and oh, that ball was high, I mean, stuff like that. And so I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed being there. The one thing that
How
I
does
go ahead.
I was going to say, how does Bryce Eldridge look?
Bryce Eldridge was scuffling a little bit when I was there. He he's a little out of sync with his timing and his kind of path to the ball right now. He had while I was there, he had a bunch of strikeouts. He only put one ball in play, and then I think yesterday he went over 3 with 3 punch outs. So he's kind of searching for it right now. The guy who's really hot right now, the guy who's swinging the bat well, is Gerard Encarnacion. He's got it going on right now.
Yeah, he's legit, man. And then he got hurt towards the end of the year last year, right? Or
Yeah, he got
some,
hurt not only
something
once but
something was
twice.
up.
Yeah, he got hurt twice. So I'm glad that he's back. So anyway.
So is he going to be in the outfield?
He's gonna. I think he might do a little bit of everything. I think he might be outfield, first base, DH. I mean, he's got all kinds of different stuff that he can do. So he's one of those guys. For Vitello that can play more than one position.
Yeah. How much did you follow that Italian team in the WBC?
You know what? I was paying attention to it because I really like that kid Caglione. I like him a
Yeah, so
lot.
do I.
I liked him when he was at Florida, and then it was one of those things where you keep your fingers crossed trying to get him, in this organization, but there was no way. I mean, he went with a high pick, and he's with the Royals, and he's over there, and he's gonna compliment Bobby Witt Jr. pretty damn good.
Speaking of high picks, I know the Giants have, what is it, the number 4 pick
Yeah.
in the draft this
Yep.
year. They're going to have an opportunity to get a really, really good one. What a awesome opportunity to try to bring in, uh, with some top level talent. Obviously, you and I have talked about Rock Chalowski over at UCLA, who's absolutely killing it. The Bruins, the number 1 ranked team in the country. Are there any other guys that you've maybe set your eyes on towards the top of the draft? There's a couple local guys, like for example, I think it's Tyler Spangler from De La Salle. I know his name is
Yeah.
surfaced around.
Yeah.
They got that kid. Was it Grady Emerson? He's a high school shortstop. I had those kids in the perfect game All American game when I broadcast that.
Yeah. Yeah. You would
Two
you
high
would
school
know
kids, but
you would
legit.
know more about those dudes, so you could talk about those dudes. I know that there's a very talented but kind of raw shortstop at Alabama that's going to be a first round pick as well. But you can talk about those Grady Emerson and then a kid from De La Salle, because I don't know anything about those guys.
Yeah, they look good. They did. They look great. I don't know enough. I have to see them more. It's tough to try to analyze somebody off of one game that I broadcast, but it seems like these guys have been in the mix for a long time now. They got an SI kid, I believe, too. Was at the game. I think Archer Horn, maybe. Yeah, well represented. I was so we'll. We'll see how this thing goes down. But I think ultimately, back in the day, Thrill, I think you were throwing darts a little bit more. Where I think now, if you're a top 10 pick, it's you're gonna make it. Now, are you gonna make it? Make it? No, not necessarily. But you definitely are going to be given every opportunity to get to the big leagues and have success and whatever. But it's up to that player to produce. You never really, because I can't tell you how many talented guys that I played pop than me, guys that were faster than me, guys who had a better arm than me, guys who a lot smoother in the outfield than me. Uh, Never fucking made it. And there's no real explanation of the fact that at the end of the day, it comes down to numbers.
Yeah.
Ball in
No.
producing. And if you don't produce and you don't have a high on base percentage, slugging percentage, whatever, if you can't hit and you have, here's a PSA for all aspiring professional baseball players out there. So I got a really good buddy of mine, Eric Valent, who's a scout for the Marlins. And we've talked about several people before. We've gone back and forth, people that, we know or prospects coming up. And he immediately always goes to 2 stats: strikeouts and walks. And that's it. So it literally, he'll look at a prospect. And if this guy's not walking more than 10% of the time, it's a red flag. And then he looks at the strikeouts. If this guy's striking out more than 20% of the time, it's a red flag. So you want to keep those numbers, especially at the amateur level, at least 1-to-1. And then ideally, at the lower levels you get, like you want 2-to-1, 2 walks to every strikeout. I tell our let them play kids that too. I'm like, look, here, let's start here because later, high school, college, when you guys are playing elite competition, if you guys could do a 1-to-1 ratio, that's elite. And you are going to freaking put the radar up of every scout around. But right now, until we're facing that 90 plus every single night, you guys should be 2-to-1. You should have 2 walks for every strikeout.
Yep, you're right. You're right. And you know what? Going back to the Giants and stuff like that, some of my observations had to revolve around those kind of things. The one thing that I saw from the Giants and also the other teams that we were playing, I don't know what has happened in this sport, but driving in a runner from third base with less than 2 outs is almost like a miracle if it happens. And it's kind of, for me, it's kind of comical because this is what I freaking lived for, was driving that freaking clutch run in. And matter of fact, I got a little plaque sitting over there. Trey made it for me, where I'm number 3 in the whole Giants organization in sack flies behind Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, and then me. You driving in a run from third base, there's 2 things you got to do. All right. Pay attention to the field. If the infielders play back, all you got to do is hit a routine ground ball. Infielders come in, you got to hit a fly ball. So you got to pick a pitch to hit a fly ball with. That being said, everybody thinks a high fastball is what you need. No, believe it or not, your best bet is to hit a breaking ball. And especially, you and I have talked about it before, Eric, and I wish Biscuit could hear this right now. But those little piece of shit early in the count, get me over breaking balls that don't bite and they just sort of roll up there. Dude, those are the ones to smash. And those are the ones to get your fly balls out the way with and drive the runner in. Other than that, these people, what's happening is, and everybody's so homer happy that they get a runner on third. First thing they think about is, man, I need to hit a freaking homer. No, you don't. You need to drive the goddamn run in. That's first and foremost. And we do this situational hitting all the time. All the time. In batting practice, man on third, less than 2 outs. Infield back. Man on third, less than 2 outs. Infield in. They do this situation all the time. But when it happens in a game, you can see the demeanor of the hitters completely change. Completely change. It goes from, okay, I'm going to hit a ground ball. Oh shit. Oh shit. I gotta get, and I think that change in the demeanor has kind of really hurt that situational hitting.
You saw it the other night, even in the USA Dominican game. Both teams had runners at third base with less than 2 outs, and they failed to get them home. Back in the day, Thrill, this used to be a stat that I'd say was well over 50% of the time that runner would get home from third base. I'd love to see the modern day number over the past couple years of how often they get their runner in from third base with less than 2 outs, because I am gosh damn fucking damn near positive that that number has gone way down. And one of the main reasons why is kind of just like you said, you think you need to get a fastball up to drive to the outfield, where it's like, no, man. A lot of times in those situations, you know what that pitcher's trying to do. Pitchers are already throwing over 50% off speed pitches in today's game. So when they really hit a runner in scoring position, specifically a runner at third base with less than 2 outs, what do you think they're trying to do? They're trying to get you to roll over some shit, so they're going to spin it up there. It is the perfect opportunity to look for a breaking ball, get something to handle a little bit up in the zone, or go down and get it and drive that motherfucker to the outfield.
You are correct. You are correct. You and I both have talked about this, and it is a it's a situation in the game that should be just a piece of cake, and you should drive the run in and not have to worry about it. But now people sweat it. I mean, they sweat it so much that we were actually practicing first and third safety squeezes and stuff like that. First and third for me was always, hey, I'm going to give me a good pitch to hit to get in the gap. Not only drive in the first run, but maybe drive the second one in or set up the guys behind me. Instead, now, because of the futility of not being able to drive the goddamn run in, you're actually thinking about freaking bunting to get one run in for sure, and then maybe get the other guy to second base in case we bloop one in or something. Whereas before that wasn't the case. And so, situational hitting is has gone kind of by the wayside. And another one too is practicing hit and run. In order to hit and run, you have to get on top of the ball. You can't be under the ball. You can't hit a fly ball. You can't swing and miss it. You have to get on top of it and hit a ground ball. Well, because of today's athlete and drop, you and I talked about dropping a back shoulder and all that and getting up under it. You can't put a hit and run on because they're going to swing and miss, or they're going to hit a fly ball, and it screws up the whole game. Whereas when you and I played, the hit and run was a big tool to use.
Are there any teams that hit and run anymore?
I haven't seen it. I've seen the run and hit where a guy just takes off, kind of thing, and the hitter does his thing. But I have not seen a designated hit and run where the guy's running and he peeks in because he knows that the hitter has to take a swing. I have not seen one of those.
Yeah. We don't do it. I go full run and hit. And I tell our boys, I'm like, look, if you're hitting and the runner takes off and you get a good pitch to hit, I want you hammering that into the gap. I'm good with that. If he gets such an incredible jump where he's going to walk to the next base, you might as well take it because that's a free 90 feet.
Yep.
3-1, 3-2, specifically 3-2, we're running every single time. 3-1 is an automatic, we're running most of the time, and that's the run and hit situation, right? Where they're running and the boys are just hitting. I can't.
All right. Before you get off of that,
Sure.
I had this talk with Roger Craig. Roger Craig came up to me and he said, "Do you want the runners running on 3-1?" I said, "You bet your ass I do," because I control strike zone. I know what a strike is and what a ball is. If it's a strike, I'm going to be aggressive. I'm going to put the ball in play because you have a guy running, and then all of a sudden holes are opening up on the field. All right. So I wanted them running 3-1 and 3-2. So, for me personally, I wanted that action going on. I wanted to press the action. A lot of guys now, man, somebody gets running and they get all distracted and shit, and they're like, oh, one of those numbers, and they can't put the ball in play.
Yeah, that's stupid, man. Because when you have a guy on base that's running and you're hitting, just think about this, man. That is giving your team a much better chance to score if you're able to hit a gap. That's giving you a much better chance at an RBI if you're able to hit a gap. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no. Hey, let's run this one. Josh just came on there and wants to talk about opening day lineup for the Gigantes. So let's run through it real quick. All right, Patrick Bailey, Gold Glover, going to be behind the dish. Chapman will be at third. Adamas at second. At short. Arias at second. Devers will be at first. Center field. As of right now, they're scheduling Harrison Bader, but he's kind of
Yeah,
been not having a great spring training.
really.
And yeah, he was sick, and then he was also hurt when I was in spring. And then you got Jung Hoo Lee on one corner, and you got Heliot Ramos on the other corner. The bench is going to be interesting. I don't know what's going to happen with the bench. That's going to be a Buster and Tony Vitello call. So we'll see who's on the bench whenever that happens. So that'll be your opening day. You'll have Webby number one, Robbie Ray number two. You got Hauser and then the other new gentleman that's going to throw. You remember his name? I forgot.
Oh,
Hauser and
dude, I don't have shit in front of me right
yeah,
now.
fuck. I forgot. But anyway, and then Landon Roop will probably be number five. So anyway, let me see what
Okay.
the let me grab the
What?
roster real
So
quick.
the first base situation
Oh, the other
is
guy's
Devers
Tyler
going to be
Maley.
on the field
That's
playing?
who it.
Yeah, Molly. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, is the first base how was the first base situation, DH situation going to play out with the Giants this year, Thrill?
You know what, the Giants have numerous options with first base DH. You can play Devers or Eldridge or Encarnacion at first, depending on if you want to go with matchups and stuff like that. Devers is not going to come out the lineup just because of his potential and how he can turn a game around one swing. Encarnacion and Eldridge, it's going to be depending on what, but like I said, Buster and Vitello want to do. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to go there. But you got three guys being able to play first or DH. So you got all kinds of mix and matches going on right there.
Who is the best defensive first baseman of the three?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, Devers was a third baseman, so I mean, he should be at least serviceable over there. I haven't seen enough of him. Encarnacion, I have not seen enough of him over there either. He didn't play first base the whole time I was in spring training. And then Eldridge, I've been working with him for 2 going on 3 years now, and he's getting more comfortable over there. But still got a little ways to go.
If he struggles in spring training, Thrill, like he has been, is there a possibility they send him down to start the year?
You talking about Eldridge?
Yes.
There's a possibility. Yeah. I mean, you know, like I said, Encarnacion's swinging about well, and then Devers is they're not going to send him anywhere with that contract, and Bryce has options and stuff like that. So I mean, I hate to say it, but if they do make a move, Bryce is the odd man out. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know what Buster and Tony are going to do, but we'll go from there. Um, while I was in, matter of fact, it happened the day I got there. Was Hayden Birdsong kind of blew out a forearm elbow thing, and I know our team doctor Ken Akazuki looked at him and said, you don't need surgery, but you're going to be down for about 3.5, 4 months. And there's this doctor in Texas called Meister, and he's represented by Boris. So I think they're going to fly over to Texas and go get a second opinion from Meister, and he's going to draw a conclusion as to whether he just rehabs it or maybe go into the knife real quick.
And Birdsong was struggling with his control a little bit, wasn't he?
Oh, he was having a rough go of it. Not a little bit. He was having a rough go of it. And then the day that he blew out was the day he found it, believe it or not. He was dealing. He had punched out, I don't know, 3 out of 4 or something like that. And then he just felt it on a pitch, and he actually finished up the batter or the inning, or I don't know, whatever it was, and then he got taken out the game. So
Thrill, where did you stay in Scottsdale?
I stayed at it's a new hotel. It's called the Senna House, Senna, and it is built on the same grounds as Don and Charlie's. They took
No
Don and
way.
Charlie. Yeah, they took Don and Charlie's, the old unbelievable establishment, that everybody used to go to, the restaurant. They tore it
Oh
down
yeah,
and they
yeah.
built.
I love that place. My
Oh,
favorite place.
hell yes! And they built the hotel in the same exact spot. So anyway, oh, let's
How many?
let's
Go
let's
ahead.
go over let's go over this. Let's go over this real quick while I got you there, and I'm looking at Biscuit because they need to know the rules too. You and I talked about the rules, right? And we went over that triple play that Robbie Ray had, on the second game of spring training, and
Yeah,
um, they actually, believe it or not, to Tony Vitello's credit, I got to give him a little tip of the cap. They were going over some of the rules, during the team meetings. And one of the rules that they went over was a pitcher's appeal play. So let's say the pitcher gets the ball and you want to appeal to second base. If the play is still going on, you can just take the ball and whip it to second base, touch second base, and then the umpire is going to give you a ruling. If there is timeout, so that means the play is stopped, the umpire stopped the play, whatever it is, the pitcher has to get the ball. He has to get on the mound, come set, step off, and then he has to delegate what is going on. So he has to say, I'm appealing this runner touching second base, or I'm appealing the runner leaving third base too early. So the pitcher has to dictate what situation that he is appealing, and then the umpires will rule on it. If you do not come set and you do not step off with timeout, you lose appeal automatically. So there's a rule. And so they went over that in spring training. That rule right there. I'm standing in the back of the room, and Tony Vitello says, does everybody know the rule? And not one pitcher said yes. And Matt Chapman was the one that wound up answering the question. And that for me, I was like, oh my God, the pitchers ought to know that. You know, every pitcher ought to know it. Rookie ought to know it, and the veteran ought to know it.
yeah. I knew that you had to step off and you say, "Hey, I'm appealing that such and such didn't touch second base or third base or whatever."
Yes.
I did not know it. I've seen it before though, but I did not know that if the play was still going on, there hadn't been timeout called, you could just directly do it. So the problem is like, with me in the youth game, and we play by high school rules, but I'm not even sure if the fucking umpires know the rules. So
Yeah.
I have to be very clear. Like if I were to appeal something this weekend in one of our games, I would have the pitcher step on the mound, step off, throw to third base to check to see if he left early on a sac fly or whatever else. But it's funny because I will try first. If the play's still going on, I'll just say appeal third. I'm going to try it just for fun. Or they could just go ahead and appeal it the way they go. Thrill Aaron Judge up, by the way. It's 2-0 Venezuela. And he hits a hard ground ball to third base. There's 2 outs, and that'll be it. So we're now going to the, sixth inning.
Yeah, going
This
in top of
Venezuelan
seven.
pitcher
Top of
was it.
seven.
Oh, geez, already. Top of 7. Yeah, PCA into the game, by the way. He pinch hit for Byron Buxton.
All right, so there we go. But anyway, I just wanted, I wanted to clarify some of those rules. Here's
Dude,
one.
it's a complicated fucking game, man. It really is.
Okay, here's one for you. All right, because this happened while I was down there, and I was like, "Oh my God, here's another rule." And after the game was over, well, not after the game was over, during the game, I told Tony Vitello, I said, you got to talk about this rule too. So there's a right-handed hitter in the batter's box. Man on second base. Man on second base steals third. Right-handed hitter takes the pitch. All right. He does not move. The catcher gets up, tries to clear himself, doesn't clear himself, and hits the batter with the ball. The ball ricochets, a run scores. All right. You, as a hitter, you are in the batter's box. You have established this is my territory. As long as you don't move, you're 1,000% in the right. You don't have to worry about shit. You're in the batter's box and you've established that. If you move and maybe like try to step out the batter's box and you get hit, runner goes back to second base.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
yeah,
So
you're called out as the
yeah,
batter.
yeah, the batter's called out. So anyway, so what I'm saying is there's another one that you need to know the rule. And when the shit's going on, don't panic. Just hold your ground. And if you get hit, so what? Play continues and maybe you'll get a run out of it. So that one happened when I was in spring training too. And we had to talk about that and go over that rule too as well.
Did you happen to see the kid from Coastal Carolina, the shortstop for the Italian team, Sam Antonacci, who dove at second base when a runner was stealing to deke him to make him think as if it was a ground ball up the middle? The runner was Joey Ortiz from the Brewers. He just kept running. It was actually a fly ball to left field, and then they doubled him up back at first. It was a fucking brilliant play, man. One of the best dekes I've ever seen.
I tell you what, that's the one thing that has kind of gotten out of baseball is the dekes. It used to be dekes all the time, and if the kid was diving like that and all that, hey, more power to you, man. You ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Nice job.
So I had Frank Menachino on the other day, Thrill. Longtime big leaguer, longtime big league coach. He was a hitting coach for the Italian team. And I asked him what the difference was between the players today and back when we played. And it really wasn't that long ago, right? So, I mean, we're talking go back 10, 15, 20 years. And he said the one major thing that these kids don't have is feel. They don't have a fucking feel for their game. He said their baseball IQ is at an all-time low. Why do you think that is?
You know what? That's really good right there. I mean, I don't know. Um, I told you this on numerous occasions. Everybody in the chat room knows. After we would get through playing a game in Mississippi State, we would go over game mistakes, if not that day, the next day. And, Coach Polk would point it out. Hey, you weren't in this cutoff position. Hey, why did we set up right here when it was obvious the play was going to be over here? That kind of thing. And that drill and that going over it mentally, made me a better ball player. Then when I got into pro ball and after the game was over, you and I have talked about this. After the game was over, we'd sit down there and have beers and have a big round table discussion. And all the veterans would run the round table and they were like, hey, rookie, you went over here. You should have been over there. All right. Hey, rookie, we blew a fastball by this guy. Why did we throw him a hanging breaking ball next pitch? Why didn't we come back with a fastball? All of this kind of stuff like that made you a better instinctive ball player. And I think that is lost now. That feel for the game that you're talking about, the talking about the game, the knowing the situations, knowing the rules. I think that has been pushed by the wayside, and it's just run, catch, dip and rip, try to hit it out the yard.
Yeah, I think the fact that, you know, kids don't grow up practicing as much. And it's just a lot of playing. And sometimes when you're not practicing and you're not going over these situations and, like you said, going over the rules or whatever else, then, with the hit and run being out, like the sack, it's cool to watch Japan play because, Japan, like, they're still very much, they will sacrifice guys over.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said with the way when you play fundamental baseball, I just feel like you win. And it's doing all of the little things. And sometimes it might be, I'll just give you a perfect example. We had a hitter. We were in Houston when we made an incredible run. Certainly, we took down what I think everybody thought was the best team in the tournament. It's cool. The second year in a row, we took out the top dog. But in that game, we had a kid laid on a bunt. And at the time, it was like, it was 1-0 game. And I'm like, and I kept thinking to myself, was that the right decision? And next thing you know, dude, it was like a pass ball, an infield hit. We score the run. And then it was the game we actually lost. And I went up to the kid. I'm like, hey, what do you think about, button on this first pitch here? I said, just the first pitch. I said, lay it down to the third baseman. I said, and then we'll go from there. I said, I'll probably let you swing the bat. After that, we'll figure it out. But at least it's going to draw him in, and we want to keep him thinking. And again, we were in a tie game or a 1-run game. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. And he ended up taking it. Right? He went to bunt, and then he took it, and it was a strike. And I'm like, yeah. And then after that, what do you think happened? Double fucking play. So, one time we execute it, the other time we don't. And it reminds me that it literally is when you do the little things right and you're able to execute these things, it's all the little things add up to the big things. But at the end of the day, and we know this by watching a WBC gold medal game right now between Venezuela and the United States, but it's when every pitch fucking matters, man. And when there's all these things that say don't get done or do get done through the course of the game, they add up and they start piling up. And that's what it takes to win baseball games. That's the bottom line.
Yep. Yep. You just, that's the big thing about baseball. You execute the little things, and the game just is kind of a normal game. If you don't execute the little things, then this game gets to be a pain in the ass. And Wes just came on there and he said something about practice. It's like, dude, why do you think a guy like me took, a minimum 250 swings a day? It's because when I get in that situation, it's second nature. I've done this 250 times for the last 100 freaking days. It's like, I'm telling you right now, I am freaking prepared for this next pitch that's coming up that I'm looking for. And, the things that we're talking about, rules and, a feel for the game. This comes with playing baseball using fucking common sense, which does not happen in this fucking game anymore. All right. And being observant. If you sit there and you're in a freaking major league dugout and you look out there and you see 4 straight pitches on the outside part of the plate, what do you think you're going to see? You're not going to see 4 pitches on the inside part of the plate. You're going to see the majority on the outside part of the plate. So let's use our little fucking brain cells, pay attention to the game, you get your head out the stands or in the fucking iPad or whatever the fuck these motherfuckers are doing now. I told a kid the other day, we went over a fucking hitters meeting and he goes, as soon as they made a pitching change, this dude comes in. I don't know who he is. He don't know who he is. And I told him, I said, look, I said, you can go walk to that iPad and put your head down. I said, or you can pick your head up and he's going to throw 8 warm-up pitches. He's getting ready to show you what he has and if he has a feel for it. If he throws 4 fastballs and he's all over the freaking dish, well, I'm not looking fastball. I'm looking breaking ball because he doesn't have a feel for his fastball coming in from the bullpen. So let's use common sense and observation. Boom. And you
Yeah,
can put
yeah,
that one,
man.
on a freaking TikTok.
I'll fucking put that thing up there, man. It is unbelievable that kids, number one, they don't watch full baseball games anymore. So they have a difficult time sitting down start to finish. So everything is like these Instagram clips and whatever. But you have to understand, you can observe so much by just opening your fucking eyes. Watch the kids that are having success. And it doesn't mean you have to completely mimic them, but what is he doing different? Oh, wow, his takes are really soft. He's getting going nice and early. These are the things that you then are able to apply. And if there's a pitcher on the mound and you wonder what he has, and this is what I love about the level that I'm coaching at right now, is that the kids come back and they're talking to one another and they're talking about, hey, he's got a nice little two seamer, or yeah, breaking ball. He's telegraphing it. You can see it right away. You see his kind of his wrist come over, whatever it is. But they're having these communications, and then they're getting in the box and they're making these adjustments. But like you said, notice how he's throwing one guy. Because if you're a right-handed hitter that's got some pop, or the bigger right-handed hitter, and you watch him pitch one guy that way, what the hell you think he's going to do when you come up? He's going to pitch you damn near the exact same way.
Yep. Yep. You're right. You're right, my brother. You're right, my brother. And it's a big part of it, is observation. And you know, I got 2 little questions coming up right here. Wes asked me, he said, you ever, run into the cage during the game or between at bats? I never did. I don't know if you did, but my thing about as much work as I put in, like I told you, I'm taking 200 minimum 200. It's usually way more than that. It's usually 250, 300 swings a day. I don't need to go freaking work on my swing in the middle of the game. All right. I am watching the game. I'm getting in the flow of the game. I'm trying to figure out, I am definitely trying to figure out what the pitcher's doing to left-handers. So why would I go running up there and take a few extra swings when I got 2 other lefties coming up? I want to see how he pitches them, what side the plate he goes to, how he attacks them, and then I'll make my game plan. And then another thing about Josh, he's been with me for forever, but he had a question about a hidden ball trick. You ever had a hidden ball trick played on you?
All the time. So we used to do it with the bananas, and then we finally outlawed it. There was too many hidden ball tricks, and then we realized what happened was that the fans couldn't really tell what was happening. They just saw that the inning was over, so there was no big way to highlight it. But when we first started doing the party animal bananas games, there was a hidden ball trick at least once a game.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys could get away with that, but then, our big thing was, you know, especially, a pick at like first base or something like that. Everybody had their eyeballs on me, and like, the first base coach is standing right behind me. So, I mean, he would always, tell a guy, hey, he's still got the ball, shit like that. The one thing that I would do was, especially on the guys that were aggressive, they dive back in, jump up, and they were ready to go again. Was I'd catch the ball, and I'd tag them, and I'd come back up, and I'd fake, and then try to tag them again. And over the course of my big league career, I maybe got 2 guys,
Yeah.
but I held them motherfuckers at first base to where they weren't jumping off of there no more, is like, oh shit, he might put on a little sneaky on me, so I got to be less aggressive instead of more aggressive. The guys who can get away, believe it or not, with the hidden ball trick are the middle infielders, shortstop, second base, because the coaches are nowhere near them, so they got to scream at them while everything's going on in the stadium, and then they can like deep, they can walk around and they can do whatever the fuck they want, and then the dudes walk off second base and boom, you tag him. So
Yeah, it's one of those things though that the fight for inches is real. And so, for example, a lot of times I'll just tell one of the kids, like, pick the first, pick the first, pick the first. And even if I say think he's failing, you're still fighting the inch and you're pushing them back, right? That's what the inside move will do. It'll make you think about basically, oh shit, okay. If I was thinking about stealing third base, all of a sudden I might think again. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be a little obsessed about that this weekend in the tournament that we're playing. I think we need to hold runners better. And when it comes to, the leg kicks and everything else, like, I don't think with the catchers that we have, anyone should be stealing on us. So long as we're 1-2, 1-3 to home plate. So there's a few things that I think you can clean up, and those are the things that, when you fight for that inch, that is it's fucking everything, man. Right?
yeah,
Like, it's always fighting for that inch, and that's what this
yeah,
game's about.
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Hey, one thing I wanted to talk to you about, because you and I both ran the bases aggressively. All right. Needless to say, you were faster than I was. All right. But when you run and you keep your head up and you use your common sense, running the bases, I mean, you don't have to be the fastest guy in the world, score the most runs, or go first or third. Okay. The reason that I'm saying that is because not only Giants, we got doubled off twice in one game on a line drive. The other teams that we played that I saw also got doubled off once or twice. Okay, so here you are as a base runner, and Eric knows this better than anybody else. All right, so you get your lead, you got a comfortable lead. You want to be out there a little bit, but not be, oh shit, I'm way the hell out here. You want to get a comfortable lead. You always want to get momentum. So now the pitcher picks his leg up, and here he goes to home plate. You bounce, you shuffle, you do whatever you got to do. It is timing. It is just like when you're hitting, and it is just like when you're fielding. All right. So when the ball is going through home plate, you are landing on your front foot. Okay. When you land on your front foot, you're watching all of the action. You can see if this ball is going to be hit or not. Okay. If it's going to be hit, you got kind of like your momentum going like towards the next base. The first thing that you read when you see contact is ball flight. So you're like hopping around, and then you land, and it's like ground ball, go. You're hopping around, you land, and it's like line drive, freeze. Same thing, hopping around, you land, fly ball. Okay, let me read it, kind of thing. And when you do that, and Eric did it as a pro, I did it as a pro, did it in college. I know Eric did it in college. You get out on second base and you practice this. You practice it every day to where it becomes second nature. And that's how you get to be a good base runner and score a lot of runs. And that was the one thing that I was telling you guys is, I mean, I hate to say it, but good Lord, I mean, we got doubled off twice in a game. I mean, that becomes, instead of 2 outs, that becomes 4 outs. Okay. So you speed the game up and you give yourself less opportunities. Eric must have cut out right there. He's traveling. So Here he comes back. But then not only that is, you back, buddy? You got me?
Yeah, I got you. Sorry.
Okay.
I
No, you
have
good.
do
You
not.
good. So I was
I,
continuing. I was continuing. I was just saying that you keep your momentum and all that sort of stuff. That's how you get to be a good base runner. But then again, you don't get doubled off. Line drives, and that's what I'm saying. When you land and you read line drive, you freeze. All right. When you land and you read ground ball, you're gone. When you land, you
yeah.
see fly ball. Depending on the situation, you find the ball and do what you got to do.
Yeah, especially at third base too, Thrill. Number one, you need to get as big of a lead as the third baseman is giving you. And then the other element of things, like I see the kids like getting all these like, I don't know, like they're taking leads off third, like they're taking off first or second. I'm like, no, chill, guys. We're walking it down the line. And then all of a sudden, we're getting our momentum going forward as he's pitching. And that foot needs to be crossing in the air as it's going through the zone. And then when it lands, you're either going to keep going or you're going to go back. It's as simple as that. Line drive, fly ball back, anything on the ground, we got to go. That's obviously the contact play. A lot of times I go anything on the ground, pass the pitcher, we got to go.
Yeah,
Right. And then line drive, fly ball back. But yeah, all little things, man. Um, the USA, by the way, we're now going into what is it, the eighth inning?
we are top of 8, still 2-0.
USA did not bring their bats tonight thus far, Thrill.
No, they did not, and we got a pitching change. Griffin Jacks replaces Will Vest. The USA has 2 hits, and Venezuela has 5. So the pitchers are shining tonight.
Yeah, they most certainly are. Thrill, one of the videos that was making its rounds this week was you hitting the home run off the Dominican Republic. And
Yeah. Somebody sent
th-
me that today too. Yeah, that was a pretty solid game in the Olympics. That was a 4 for 5 jobby. That was pretty nice,
what was that like playing at Dodger Stadium, man?
dude. Playing Dodger Stadium and going out with USA on your chest. Oh my God. I mean, it made the hair stand up on the back of your neck. I mean, we were in Dodger Stadium, and you know how Dodger Stadium is because you've played there. I mean, the fans show up in the second or third inning and they leave in the seventh. I mean, we had 9 straight innings of packed LA Dodger Stadium screaming USA. I mean, it was unbelievable. And
And you guys
to
were
go
and you
out.
guys were college kids,
Yeah, we were all
right?
college kids. You ain't shitting. I've never been in this situation before. I've been in front of like 14, 15,000 at Mississippi State. I ain't been in front of no 40, 50,000.
Oh, that's so awesome,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. And I mean, it was very similar, believe it or not, it's very similar to when I got the hit, off of Mitch Williams in '89. I mean, you know, I went deep. If you watch that tape of that Dominican game, I went deep and the freaking place went just ape shit. And I was like, damn. I mean, they were fired up.
Yeah. The WBC comes around once every 3 years, Thrill. 2028, actually. So in 2 years from now, you're going to have the Olympics. And
Yeah,
baseball is a sport in the Olympics. There still is no definitive word on whether or not major leaguers will play in that. What are your thoughts on big leaguers playing in the upcoming Olympics in Los Angeles?
we actually talked about that because it is the Summer Olympics. We actually talked about that in spring training. That meant that if you have major leaguers, I mean, you're going to have to drag, you know, a stud or two off every team to make up this Olympic roster. That's first off, and then second off, there is a possibility because they're talking about it right now where you put a hold on the major league season for 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever, until the Olympics are over, and then you continue the season. And, that's why, for me personally, I it was such an amazing experience for a college kid. I mean, Jesus Christ Almighty, it was unfreaking believable. And I think it ought to be college kids, in the Olympics, and let the pros continue with their season. But whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know. That's not what they're talking about.
I like that thrill. I really do. It's a very unique perspective because right now it feels like the sentiment is like, oh, of course you got to get the best big leaguers and this and that. I don't know. Do we? It's, our amateurs could go out there. The only question is this: are we going up against the Japanese big leaguers? Are we going up against Korea's big leaguers? Are we going up against, I mean, I'm trying to think of another big professional league that takes place during the summer. The Mexican Summer League is not nearly as strong, obviously, as the Mexican Winter League. The Dominican, they certainly would be able to put it together with minor leaguers, right? And that's what they did in, I think it was '08 in Beijing, is they put together a team of minor leaguers. So it was college kids because Strasburg was on that team. And I know this because John Gall was on that team as well, and he was in the minor leagues. And I told him, man, hey, man, that's one of the benefits of being in the bushes.
Yeah, no, no, I agree. And I mean, if you look at it and you say, "Whoa, whoa, 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 wait a second, we're gonna postpone a major league season for 10 days while these guys go run off and play in the Olympics." What do you think these billionaire owners are gonna say? Are you fucking insane? I'm making cash hand over fist right now, and you want me to stop making cash so that we can send a bunch of dudes over yonder to go play baseball? And oh, by the way, I'm trying to win the freaking World Series because if I win the World Series, I get buku freaking cash. You think these freaking owners are gonna like that shit? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, you're paying them a lot of money, man. And the worst case scenario, obviously, is just one of these guys getting hurt, or this guy goes to the Olympics. And even if he's not hurt, say, for example, Mason Miller has taken the ball, the past couple games and he's throwing 40 something pitches, and this is early in spring. And word on the street is the Padres called and said, yo, that's fucking enough. So I don't know if we're going to see Mason Miller tonight in this 2-0 game right now. Venezuela, we're in the bottom of the eighth inning, 0-2 count. Nope, never mind. You just had a strikeout right there. Biscuits over here. I think he's doing two things. He was very upset about the strikeout, and then he's checking out the hot Venezuelan baddies.
There you go. There you go. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. You
Ah,
gotta have a little distraction every now and then. You can't be
oh,
all
good.
baseball.
Exactly, exactly. All right, Thrill. Well, is there anything else, man, you want to get off your chest? Anything else you want to go over? We got Crow Armstrong up right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I pretty much went over everything that I was going to tell you. It was good. It was good going to spring training. Good, meeting the coaching staff, seeing the boys play. They got some competition going on right now. We got some jobs available, especially in the bullpen. If somebody would step the fuck up, they would win some jobs in the bullpen right now. And yeah, I mean, I saw Hauser throw. He threw extremely well. They told me that Melee. They said he's been a true pro. Saw Landon Root. Landon didn't. He had his normal stuff, but his command was off a little bit. And then I saw Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray threw 5 innings, punched out 8, didn't even give up a hit, and looked dominant. So I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, a week from tomorrow is opening day in San Francisco. I will be there, and I'll see what the hell happens with the pomp and pageantry of the Giants versus Yankees.
Say Thrill. How many times a day on average did somebody mention the podcast to you?
At least two or three. At least every time I was signing autographs, you'd sign an autograph and they're like, "Man, I love you," and you a hell of a player. Man, I love you on the podcast. That kind of shit. And I'm like, man, y'all need to tune in more. We having too much fun with it, but we're getting ready to have a lot of fun, and the reason being is because we are going to be seeing some baseball, and we're going to be able to talk about the good shit and the bad shit.
Well, some good shit just happened right here. Bobby Witt Jr. walked. There's 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. They're now Johan Santana's the pitching coach. Oh, it's so cool, man. But it's Bryce Harper who is up. Let's see
Yeah.
if they have a lefty in the bullpen. They do. So this is going to be a big question. Do they go to the lefty or do they keep Machado in here to face Harper? Harper, I believe, had a base hit earlier in this game.
Oh!
Don't say anything. Don't say
I'm
anything.
not
Don't say
saying
anything.
anything.
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. So here it is. Runner on first, bottom 8, 2 outs. It's a ball down. Aaron Judge on deck. You sense the tension in the building. The U.S. fans are finally starting to make a little bit of noise. 2-0 Venezuela. The 1-0 pitch to Bryce Harper. Driven!
Oh, yes!
Surfeld! Fucking see ya!
God!
Holy shit, man!
Oh, baby! Oh,
Wow!
baby! USA! USA! USA!
Unfucking believable. He is now walking to home plate. He is Captain fucking America right here. This is our guy.
Oh my God!
Wow.
If you're Venezuela right there, if you're a fan of Venezuela, you're like, what the fuck, like that.
Thrill, what a moment. It
And now
came from
you got Aaron Judge coming up. It don't get no easier.
oh, good for you for not completely giving that away. I knew something good happened as you're getting this shit in real time. I'm probably about 20 seconds
Yeah,
behind.
you're a
So,
little bit
Judge,
delayed. I just looked over and I was like, oh my God.
well, I wonder if this changes a pitching plan at all for the United States or who they have available in the bullpen. That's the
And then
first time I feel.
you want to talk about being second guessed? The freaking manager of Venezuela, Lopez, is being 85 guessed right now.
Yeah, you had the lefty in the bullpen, and they're showing the Harper homer, and he salutes as he crosses third base. It's such a fucking cool moment, man. I'm really glad we got to share this live on No Filter Network. Thrill. This is everything. I mean, I'm in the middle of California, somewhere on the 99, somehow still have reception, and was able to watch that. So cool. So 1-1
So cool.
count.
And I just went back and I looked at the game day. That is a 1-0 fastball right down the middle to Bryce Harper. I mean, he could have like done anything he wanted to. I mean, he could have gone left, center, right. He could have done anything he wanted to. And he tattooed it, baby.
Yeah, and that's the out you needed. So I don't know who their lefty was in the pen or how much confidence they have in him. But with 2 outs, I'm going to get him. That's my guy, right? I'm going to the left-hander in that situation. And I get it that Judge is coming up next. I don't know if it's the rule that you have to face 2 batters, If it is, that would be the reasoning behind obviously leaving the righty in. But at least if Harper's going to go bridge, I'm going to make him do it against the lefty.
Yeah, yeah, and then now you got a Rise coming up, Suarez and Jimenez. Rise 0 for 3, Suarez 0 for 3, and Jimenez is first at bat. So we'll see what happens in the top 09 for the Venezuelan team.
I like Bryce Harper, man. I always have.
Yeah, and then we got
I
a pitching change. Garrett Whitlock is coming in for the USA team.
Yeah, so Whitlock's nasty. I didn't realize how dirty this guy was. Whitlock, pitcher, obviously for the Boston Red Sox, but this dude is filthy. Again, it was Bednar and the other guy was Mason Miller that they kept going to. Whitlock, obviously, that night, the guy tonight. So we'll see how he does, man.
It's kind of funny.
Arise puts everything in play.
Yeah, no, kind of funny because Whitlock was drafted by the Yankees, but then he's playing for the Red Sox. So that's kind of a weird in itself, right there. So
Yeah, for sure, man.
well, look,
For sure.
you gotta. I mean, I hate to say it, but you gotta tip your cap to the USA relievers: Keller, Vest, Jax, and now Whitlock. I mean, they chunked up a bunch of zeros to where the USA was one swing away, and we got the one swing. So let's see what happens. Now it boils down to who can relax, take it all in, blow it out, calm down, and get their A game swing off.
Yeah, it's got to be really tough to slow this moment down, Thrill, but you have a ton of experience in doing that. One of the things I know you talked about was the breath and making sure you
Yeah.
took that deep breath in these
Yeah.
moments.
Yep, you got to do it, man. I mean, because if you don't, you just get caught up in emotion. You're like, and that's the one thing you don't want to do because then you can't think clearly. You want to relax, be able to think, reel the whole situation in, and go from there.
I always say, feel the air pass through your nostrils. So Whitlock's numbers are a joke. 3 innings pitched, 1 hit, 0 walks, 5 strikeouts.
And then he had a 2.25 last year for Boston, so he's a stud, like you said.
Well, Thrill, here's our Giants second baseman,
Yeah.
Luis Arise. Giants fans, are you rooting for Arise right here, or are we rooting to get him out? I will say, get his ass out.
Yeah, I hate to say it because he's going to be a teammate, but hit a grounder to short.
You know what we're rooting for? Yeah, a hard ground ball or a hard line out somewhere would be just fine.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you know the international? I'd say international because, well, I guess it is international. Do you know the WBC extra inning rules?
I do not. I don't know
Neither do
any.
I.
I don't know any of the rules that are going on in this tournament. And so anyway.
Well, Whitlock just walked him. Oh, fuck.
Yeah, shit. He walked a Rise. And now you got a pinch runner coming in for a Rise, but you got Suarez hitting.
Eugenio Suarez, who obviously could leave the yard with one swing.
Yes, he can.
49 home runs last year. What a moment. What a game. What a WBC.
And, I mean, I hate to say it, we were trying to pat Whitlock on the back, but the last thing you want to do as a reliever late in the game is come in and walk the leadoff guy.
Yeah, we need some fucking strikes right here, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, come
right?
on, dude, fill up the
It just
zone.
goes to show you how good a Rise is, though. I mean, here's Whitlock that's been just untouchable. And he gets there and he grinds out in at bat. This is what I'm really looking forward to seeing from Arise this year with the San Francisco Giants. I think the Giants are going to be good. I do.
I
I don't
totally
know.
agree with you. I totally agree with you. And I tell everybody, I said, when you're a middle of the order guy, so like Adames, Chapman, Devers, you want two or three of Luis Arias in your lineup because you want to come up to the plate with runners out there. You want to come up to the plate with runners in scoring position. So that's just me personally.
You want to know who's in attendance tonight for the United States team? Tariq Skubal.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They could have put Tariq Skubal on the mound right now in the top of the ninth inning to get 3 fucking outs and then go score a run and walk this thing off. Yeah, this is really, really interesting. Runner goes. Oh, he got him. Oh, shit. Oh, it's close.
I don't think he got him.
Oh, they're going to challenge it.
They need
You
to. They
might.
need to challenge it, but I don't think they got him.
Yeah, I just saw it in real time. The jump was suspect. Let's see. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know, Thrill. I think this is really close. I think you fucking got him. Oh, this is going to be so close. We need definitive evidence, though, to overturn the safe call. Bryce Terang, was he the one that made the tag?
Yeah. And Will
The
Smith is the
road.
one that threw it. Will Smith's the one that threw it.
I don't think you can call it out. I don't know. I don't think you could. I'm not sure if you can change this. This might be the view as I'm taking a look now. You can't change it. It almost looks like a tie, dude. I would love to change it. But if I called safe on the field, I'm going to stick with safe. If I called out on the field, I would stick with out. Let's see. Yeah, they can't change it. And
Yeah.
it was simultaneous where his foot was hitting the bag and he was tagging him.
Yeah.
And that's a big steal a second. Now he's at second base. They're in a
Second
2-1
base with
count.
nobody out. And if you're Suarez, you want something out over the plate that you can go to right field, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's nasty. Is that a changeup he's throwing? Is that what
Yeah,
it
it's
says,
going
throw?
to change it. Yeah, that's a changeup.
So 2 balls, 2 strikes, top 9, 0 outs. How about a Rise stealing in that situation? Ballsy, man.
It wasn't a rise. It was a pinch runner.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck.
ballsy. Oh, no.
God.
Okay. Runner at second base, 2-2 count. Ball up. So now it's a 3-2 count. The Venezuelan fans are on their feet. DeRosa looks at his scorecard. No outs, the pitch. Driven. Left center field. That's a gapper. 1 run will score. Gino's going to pull up into second base with a double. What a fucking hit, man.
Left it out
Yeah.
over for him. Left it out over.
Wow. I mean, people are going to look at this. They're going to talk about this. They're going to say, where was Mason Miller? They're going to say, where was Trick Scooble?
Yes,
Oh,
they
fuck,
are.
dude.
Yes, they are.
I read an article this morning saying, hey, the USA has all these great relievers, but we don't know which one of them can pitch. And obviously, Mason Miller was shelved up tonight. The USA still has a chance. Now Venezuela will be bunting, at least an attempted bunt. We'll see Jimenez the batter, Andres Jimenez. So he didn't start the game.
No, he came in. He came in late.
Big swing and a miss. Still no outs. I mean, you got to get an out here, huh, Thrill?
You got to get
We
an
need
out.
something.
You got to get an out.
What's really big is to try to keep it at 1 run. If you're at 2, it gets really difficult having to chase that 2 number because then you got to get a guy on, and then you got to pray for a miracle like the Harper homer.
Yep.
0 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch is slapped the other way. Kind of a little pain in the ass at bat. Hey, did you ever get a chance to meet Earl Weaver?
I did not. I never met Mr. Earl. Never met him. Oh, this one skipped my brain for whatever reason, but I had my birthday down in spring training when I was there, and I actually,
Happy birthday, dude.
yeah, I actually, believe it or not, I went to breakfast with George Brett. I got pictures of me and George, and then believe it or not, Trey sat right next to him. So I got pictures of Trey sitting there with George Brett. So,
That's really fucking cool. What did you and George talk about?
oh God, we talked all kinds of good shit. Let me see if I can get this. Can you see it? There it is. That's better. Old George, old left-handed smacking third baseman. We talked about
What?
hitters today as opposed to when we hit and stuff like that. And George doesn't hold his tongue, and he was MFing some of these guys like he was going out of style. So
All right, so USA is going to get 1 out right here. That is good.
yep.
George hit me up. I'm not kidding you, dude. Like, I don't know. I guess it was probably a few years ago in spring training. And I get a call from like a random number. And it was George Brett. And I didn't answer it, right? He leaves a voicemail. And he had watched a documentary that I was in. It was either the Diamond to the Rough or this Triathlon Across America documentary. And he called and he's like, Bergie, I just want to tell you that was fucking badass. Yeah, this and that. But I was so taken aback. Hey, Bergie, George Brett here. Just said, so Sweeney told me to watch this documentary here, and I just watched it. It's fucking fantastic. I mean, it was the coolest message ever. It was probably about 9 phones ago, so I don't think I have it saved. But for the longest time, like it was like a year, I had this message, and I don't know. I probably should have figured out another way to save it, but it's gone.
Well, I had met George a few times before, and just in passing, hey, how you doing? How's everything? That kind of thing. This is the first time I had a chance to sit down with him and talk, and I finally was able to tell him that he was, one of my idols growing up, and I patterned my swing after him, and I bought Charlie Lyle's book and read Charlie Lyle's book, all that sort of stuff. So, and he goes, "Why were you watching me?" I said that was the only team that we could get in New Orleans, believe it or not, was the Royals for whatever reason. I said, so I watched you a lot, and so it was a good way to start off my birthday day, was to have breakfast with George Brett.
That's exactly something George would say. Why are you watching me, Thrill? Like, you got this beautiful swing, and yeah. But man, You want to talk about an ability to put the barrel of the bat on the baseball? There were very few that did it as well as George Brett in the history of the game.
In the history of the game, and he has one of the records that will never be broken, having 3 batting titles in 3 different decades. He had a batting title in
Wow.
70. He had a batting title in 76. He had a batting title in 80, and he had a batting title in 90. And that record right there will never be broken. Because first off, nobody's going to play in 3 decades. That's first off, and then second off, there ain't many people that are going to be a batting champion at least 3 times. So, and then we got Mr. Tyler Rogers, former San Francisco Gigante, in the game now.
Yeah, he just got to pop up. So they've done a good job of limiting the damage thus far. Who's Tyler Rogers with now?
He's with the Mets.
That's where we traded him, huh?
Yep, we traded him to the Mets.
Did you see Robert Trina down there? Were they down there at all?
I saw Rob. Yeah, for the owners meeting. So yeah, this is showing Tyler Rogers with a Blue Jays hat on. Let me see what he did.
See with the Jays? Yeah, I think he might have signed a deal with
Yeah,
the Jays.
yeah, he's signed with the Jays. That's what it was. Yeah, signed with the Jays. I don't know how the hell that happened, but anyway. Come on now. Let's see who the United States has coming up next. We got Schwarber, Bregman, and Anthony coming up in the bottom of 9.
Let's see. So they're having a ruling here. Yeah, so what's happening? Eugenio Suarez, he's still third, or is he still on the play? What could hustle to get all the way back to second base? Wilyer Abreu, they're gonna walk him. He had the home run earlier. Yeah, I don't think I love that matchup. And then that's Sal Perez,
Yeah,
one for
they
three, a
they
single in
walked
the
they
third inning.
walked William Abreu, and now they got Perez up there putting the right on right dudes.
Well, that's the matchup you want, right?
That is the matchup you want. Let's see if he throws
Runners at
him one
first
of
and
his.
second, 2 outs.
Let's see if they throw him one of his normal sliders from down yonder.
Sal Perez, what 4-time All-Star. Oh, driven to left field, but that'll be caught. Okay.
And we're out. Here we go. Kyle Schwarber, Alex Bregman, and Roman Anthony. All 3 of them are 0 for the game.
Did they put Gunnar Henderson in already? Because I gotta believe Gunnar Henderson will be put in the game, right? For Bregman?
I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Henderson has not been in the game. The only substitution has been Crow Armstrong for Byron Buxton.
Yeah, I gotta believe Henry. I mean, so long as there's not a lefty on the mound, it would be Henderson who's going to get the opportunity.
Well, Machado's going back out there supposedly.
Really?
Yep, that's what they got up there right now.
Well, Thrill, I still can't believe that this stream has lasted as long as it has
Yep,
on
while
the
you're driving, that's pretty damn good.
on the drive.
Yep.
My car's starting to make funny noises, but other than that, I think all is good.
Yeah, they do have a new pitcher. It's
I
Palencia.
need Jason or Battleborn Mike or okay. Wilson Contreras at first base. Palencia
Palencia is
comes
coming
in.
in.
He's 4 innings pitched, 0 hits.
Yep, yep. He's the Cubs dude. So let's see what Mr. Schwarber features here. What are you driving in,
Schwar-
by the way? Is that some sort of van?
yeah, it's a Sprinter van.
Like what kind of Sprinter van?
It's a Mercedes Sprinter van that's making like a hissing noise when I hit the gas pedal. What does that mean? It's hissing. It's still going
Making a
though.
hissing noise when you hit the gas pedal. Usually that's supposed
Yeah.
to be just like accelerating. That's all it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but why is it hissing at me?
It's a great
Almost
question.
sounds like air or something. I mean, we got to have some kind of mechanic on here, right? On the show.
You would think.
I mean,
Put it
where's
this way, I know Josh and Tommy are not mechanics.
they're not the car guys. Are you a car guy? Are you the guy that gets under the hood?
No, no chance.
Me, no, me neither.
No.
I told you the change oil story at Chevron though. I used to pretend
Yeah,
like I changed someone's oil or checked the oil and I had no idea where the fucking dipstick was.
yeah. There you go.
Schwarber looks like shit. That I'm just being
Yeah,
totally
he don't
transparent.
look he don't look good. He doesn't look good against that split finger.
Oh, dude, I was right down the middle though. Like if he's not hitting that, what is he gonna hit? He has no chance right here. Oh, damn. This shows some Venezuelan baddies. I mean, that is a look.
Yeah, Tommy Luke said call car shield. There you
Yeah,
go.
hey,
Our
that's
title
a really good
sponsor.
that's a really good point. There goes Schwarber. Like Schwarber had no chance. You know when
No.
you watch, you watch and you know you're like, there's just no chance.
Yeah. Somebody, in other words, doesn't like a split finger. See ya. Oh, we have a pinch hitter coming in here.
Yeah, it's gonna be Gunner.
Yep. Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, poor Schwarber's one of those guys. When he's hot, he's hot. When he's not. Right.
Yeah.
So that certainly is a situation where he's not.
Gunnar
Yeah, this is
Henderson.
the matchup. This is the guy.
Yep. Gunnar Henderson is not that old.
No, he's like 21, isn't he?
24, but he's been around for 3 years or 2 years. Come on.
DeRosa looks on. The pitch to Gunner is a fly ball. Pop up, at least.
Not
Looks
good.
like no.
Well, It's up to a rookie, Mr. Roman Anthony.
Well, here's another 21-year-old young kid. He went to the last WBC. He was at the game where Mike Trout struck out against Shohei Ohtani. He actually bought a ticket. He was in the minor leagues thrill. And he had just signed with the Red Sox. He drove up with some buddies from camp. And now here he is 3 years later with the United States season on the line. And
Yeah,
it is Roman
he's
Anthony that is hoping that he is not the last at bat.
he's at the bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Not an enviable position.
No, remember, please don't give anything away right here as we look on. 2 outs now, 1-1 count. Well, what an environment. What a WBC. Really, really cool. The pitch to Anthony, I mean, fastball a little up, a little in, but it was up and in within the zone. Miguel Cabrera is going nuts himself. So, Sal, is that Sal who calls timeout? Schwarber looks on with the headband. Entire United States roster is up on the top rail. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of chatter going on. They're down to their final strike. Palencia, who's been unhittable this WBC. The Venezuelan players are up on the top rail, waving the flag. The pitch. Yeah. And Venezuela is your 2026 WBC champion. What a fucking run for those boys.
Yep.
Congratulations. Felicidades.
Hell of a job. Hell of a job. They did it when they needed to.
Yeah, they done did it, bro. I mean, that's
And
it.
they went through the big boys. They didn't go through no little cheapies. They went through some big boys.
Yeah, that's impressive. To take down Japan, to beat the Italian team that was undefeated, and then to have to take on the juggernaut that is the United States of America. The
Yeah.
plus 220 underdogs, Venezuela. I mean, that was the bet of the year. I mean, it really was. Or if you could have taken Italy against the U.S., it got them at like plus 1,100. But wow, pretty impressive run.
Yep. And very impressive run. And then now, believe it or not, you not only have, you know, the Venezuelans as champions, but now you got to get everybody back to their respective teams because you got the season starting up in a week. So, this is for as special as it is and all that. It's going to be a very kind of short celebration, and off we go.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are so emotional, man. I do think that Luis Ariz, Giant fans of this, we've all seen him play before, and this is obviously a multiple-time batting champion, and we could sing his praises over and over and over again. But Luis Ariz that's a dude I want on my side, if that makes sense. Like he
Yeah,
is a
no, I'm with
fucking
you.
savage, and so
I'm
if
with
there's
you.
some
It's,
inspiration Giants fans can draw from this, it's that.
well, it's gonna be fun watching a guy that knows how to freaking hit.
Yeah, right. All right, Thrill. Well, hey, man, thanks, dude. I appreciate you sticking on with me uh, the entire, the entire last few innings here, man. I mean, we've been at this for a couple hours. So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
incredible show, and let's we can be able to do it again next week, or you're back in the Bay.
Well, I'm back in the Bay. They got a game against some team. Josh, I don't even know what team it is. You remember? It's some Guardians or something. I don't know. So um, Josh says it's some team from Mexico. So anyway, so they got that on Tuesday night, and I'll text you and see if I can break away early so I can do the show.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. So yeah, let me
Yeah.
know, and have a fantastic week. Safe travels. And yeah, hopefully we're back on next week.
Sounds like a plan, brother.
All right, one last thing for everybody. Yeah!